The Awakening Storm. The grand hall of the galactic hegemony echoed with the resonant voices of 1,000 species. Crystalline architecture spiraled toward a transparent ceiling that revealed the swirling nebula beyond, a reminder of the hegemony's domain spanning 17,000 star systems. At the center of the chamber, High Chancellor Drexel tapped his ceremonial staff against the polished obsidian floor. "Bring forth the scout report," he commanded, his 4 eyes narrowing beneath a crown of bioluminescent tendrils. A slender figure approached, skin the color of burnished copper. Ambassador Vexer of the Tyranian Collective bowed slightly, his movements careful and measured. "Honorable Council, our scout ships have discovered a previously uncharted civilization in Sector 9Z, a planet called Earth." Murmurs rippled through the assembly. Most species had never heard of this world. The High Chancellor's expression remained unchanged. "Classification: Pre-unification, Chancellor. They've achieved rudimentary spaceflight, but remain confined to their solar system. Their technology is primitive. They still use combustion engines and silicon-based computing." Vexer's voice carried an undercurrent of concern that went unnoticed by most. Admiral Genkar, the hegemony's most decorated military leader, laughed, a harsh sound that cut through the chamber. His massive frame, covered in battle armor adorned with the trophies of conquered worlds, shifted forward. "Another backward species for assimilation," he said dismissively. "Their resources will serve the greater glory of the hegemony." Vexer hesitated, his copper skin dimming slightly. "There is something unusual about this species, Admiral. My scouts reported anomalies." "Anomalies are irrelevant," Genkar interrupted. "Have they achieved faster than light travel?" "No. But quantum weapons?" "No. Neural networks?" "Not that we detected." The Admiral spread his 4 arms wide, each ending in clawed digits that had personally ended resistance on a dozen worlds. "Then they are helpless, like all the others at this stage. The Council has spoken before on such matters." High Chancellor Drexel nodded slowly. "The law is clear. Pre-unification species are to be assimilated for their own protection and advancement. Their resources belong to the greater galactic community." Vexer stepped forward, breaking protocol. "Chancellor, if I may speak freely, these humans display unusual adaptive traits. Their technological development, while behind ours, has progressed at an accelerated rate. My scouts recorded strange energy signatures in their outer system that we couldn't identify. Perhaps we should observe longer before." "Your caution is noted, Ambassador," Drexel said coldly, "but unnecessary. The hegemony has incorporated thousands of species. This will be no different." Admiral Genkar's mouth split into a predatory smile. "I'll lead the assimilation fleet personally. 100 warships should be sufficient for a world at this development stage." In the back of the chamber, Vexer clenched his fists. No one noticed as he slipped away, his copper skin now dull with worry. Deep beneath the Antarctic ice, General Maya Chen stood before a wall of holographic displays. Her dark eyes, sharp and focused after 30 years of military service, tracked the movement of something massive approaching from beyond the orbit of Neptune. "Contact confirmed," announced Lieutenant Commander Jackson. "Unidentified vessels, 100 plus, maintaining formation. Trajectory indicates Earth as destination." Chen nodded, unsurprised. "And so it begins, just as the Proxima probe warned us it would." 15 years earlier, a routine scientific mission to Proxima Centauri had encountered something unexpected. Fragments of an alien vessel destroyed in some ancient battle. The recovered technology and warnings contained within had changed everything. Earth had prepared in secret ever since. "Alert all Sentinel stations," Chen ordered. "Activate Protocol Umbra. And get me Director Okafor." Minutes later, a tall Nigerian man appeared on the central screen, his lab coat indicating he'd been pulled from research. "The visitors we've been expecting?" Dr. Kachi Okafor asked, his deep voice calm. "Yes, ETA 48 hours. Time to see if your toys work, Doctor." Okafor smiled faintly. They'll work. The question is whether we need them. Ambassador Collins' diplomatic team is still an option. Chen's expression hardened. The Proxima data was clear. The hegemony doesn't negotiate with pre-unification species. They take. Then they're in for a surprise. Okafor's eyes gleamed. 15 years of reverse engineering alien tech, combined with human ingenuity. We're not the primitives they think we are. Deploy the Lazarus array, Chen ordered, and wake the Phantom Fleet. Admiral Genkar stood proudly on the command deck of the inevitable Dominion, his massive dreadnought leading the assimilation fleet toward the insignificant blue planet. Behind him, 99 warships followed in perfect formation, their hulls gleaming in the distant sunlight. Magnification, he ordered. The view screen focused on Earth, showing scattered lights on its dark side, primitive satellites in low orbit, and a handful of small space stations. Pathetic, he rumbled. Not even a defensive grid. His second-in-command, Commander Vexon, approached with a data tablet. We've detected approximately 2,000 satellites and several small stations. Their largest habitat holds only 400 individuals. No weapons detected beyond their atmosphere. Genkar's upper arms crossed in satisfaction. As expected, prepare the announcement broadcast. Standard assimilation protocol. They surrender their resources and accept hegemony guidance, or we demonstrate our power on a small scale. A primitive species like this usually surrenders after the first city is vaporized. Transmission prepared. Admiral, send it on all frequencies. Let's see how quickly these humans submit. In the White House Situation Room, President Elena Reyes watched the alien transmission with her cabinet and military advisors. The holographic figure of Admiral Genkar loomed over the table, his arrogant voice translated by algorithms developed specifically for this moment. People of Earth, I am Admiral Genkar of the Galactic Hegemony. Your planet has been designated for assimilation into our collective. Resistance is both futile and unnecessary. We bring advancement and protection. You will surrender your resources and accept our guidance. You have one planetary rotation to respond. Failure to comply will result in demonstration of power. The transmission ended. Silence fell over the room until Defense Secretary Alvarez spoke. Well, they're right on schedule. President Reyes nodded grimly, and exactly as arrogant as the Proxima data suggested. General Chen, status of Umbra Protocol. General Chen's face appeared on a secure screen. All systems green, Madam President. The Phantom Fleet is deployed. Lazarus array online. Prometheus weapons primed. We're ready. Reyes stood, her expression resolute. For 15 years, we've prepared in secret, united as never before. Governments, corporations, militaries, all working together knowing this day would come. She looked around the table. The hegemony expects primitives. They expect surrender or token resistance. They don't expect what we've become. Should we attempt communication? Asked Secretary of State Williams. Maybe Ambassador Collins. No, Reyes interrupted. The Proxima data was clear about the hegemony's methods. They don't negotiate with species they consider inferior. We respond as planned. She turned to her communications director. Prepare my address to the nation. It's time to tell the world what we've been preparing for. Admiral Genkar frowned at the lack of response from the primitive planet. Nearly a full rotation had passed with no communication. Either they're disorganized or defiant, he muttered. No matter. Prepare a precision strike on their largest city. Minimal yield, just enough to demonstrate our power. Admiral, his sensor officer called out suddenly. Energy spike detected. Source, Luna, their moon. It's enormous power reading. Genkar leaned forward. Impossible. Our scans showed no installations there. The sensor officer's voice rose with alarm. Sir, detecting multiple new contacts emerging from the lunar surface. The main view screen shifted to show Earth's moon. What had appeared to be natural craters were opening, massive doors sliding apart to reveal darkness beneath. From these openings, ships began to rise, hundreds of them, then thousands. Genkar stared in disbelief. This cannot be. They're pre-unification. Commander Vexon's voice shook. Admiral, we're detecting similar launches from Mars and from asteroid installations throughout the system. On the screen, vessel after vessel emerged, sleek and predatory in design, bearing the insignia of Earth. Not primitive rockets or chemical engines, but vessels powered by technologies that shouldn't have been possible for humans to possess. How many? Genkar demanded. The sensor officer swallowed hard. Current count exceeds 20,000 and rising. A transmission cut through the stunned silence on the bridge. A human female appeared on screen, her uniform bearing insignia of rank. This is General Maya Chen of Earth Defense Command, to Hegemony Invasion Fleet. You have entered restricted space. The Sol system is sovereign territory of humanity. You will power down weapons and prepare to be boarded, or you will be destroyed. You have 5 minutes to comply. Admiral Genkar's mandibles clicked in rage. This is impossible. You are deceiving us with holographic projections. The human general's expression remained unchanged. Your arrogance is noted, Admiral. For generations, you've preyed upon developing civilizations, stealing resources, and subjugating species. When our Proxima probe discovered your wreckage and learned of the hegemony, we prepared. In secret, united as never before. Genkar's 4 eyes widened as the tactical display updated. The count of Earth vessels now exceeded 50,000 and continued to climb. Your 5 minutes begin now, General Chen said calmly before the transmission cut. Commander Vexon approached, his voice low. Admiral, we are significantly outnumbered. These vessels appear to utilize technology comparable to our own, perhaps even more advanced in some aspects. Impossible. Genkar slammed his fist on the console. No species develops this quickly. They must have had help. Traitors within the hegemony. Your orders, sir. Admiral Genkar straightened, his pride overriding his shock. We are the hegemony. We do not retreat from primitives, no matter what tricks they employ. Battle formation. All ships prepare to engage. As the hegemony fleet moved into attack position, more vessels continued to rise from hidden bases throughout the solar system. The void around Earth filled with ships, tens of thousands becoming hundreds of thousands, their formation blotting out the stars themselves. The humans had been preparing for this moment for 15 years, and the hegemony had no idea what they were facing. The rising thunder. Admiral Genkar's first volley of plasma torpedoes streaked across the void, a brilliant declaration of hegemony power that had shattered the defenses of countless worlds before. They never reached their targets. The torpedoes vanished midway, swallowed by shimmering fields that appeared and disappeared in microseconds. On the bridge of the inevitable Dominion, alarm klaxons blared as sensor officers reported the impossible. Directed quantum interference fields, exclaimed the chief tactical officer. They're neutralizing our weapons before impact. Genkar snarled, his massive frame tensing. Impossible. That technology is beyond even the core worlds of the hegemony. A new transmission cut through their communications. This time, an older human male appeared, his dark skin contrasting with silver-streaked hair and a lab coat bearing an insignia of Earth's Science Division. This is Director Kachi Okafor of Earth's Advanced Defense Research. Your weapons technology is approximately 30 years behind our current capabilities. The wreckage of your scout ship near Proxima Centauri was most educational. Genkar's 4 eyes widened. The lost expedition. Indeed, Okafor continued calmly. We've had 15 years to study and improve upon your technology. Your final warning has expired. Observe. The transmission ended abruptly. In the next moment, 12 hegemony destroyers at the fleet's perimeter simply ceased to exist, not exploding, not breaking apart, but vanishing in ripples of blue-white energy that collapsed in on themselves. "Gravity weapons," whispered Commander Vexon, horror evident in his voice. "They've weaponized singularity manipulation." For the first time in his long career of conquest, Admiral Genkar felt fear crawl along his spine. He had led invasions against hundreds of worlds, but never encountered a supposedly primitive species that had leapfrogged centuries of technological development. "All ships, evasive pattern Omega. Retreat to defense position at the gas giant," he ordered, his voice cracking. "Deploy all fighters." In Earth's Antarctic Command Center, General Chen watched the tactical display with grim satisfaction. "They're retreating to Jupiter, just as we predicted." Lieutenant Commander Jackson nodded. "Their fighter deployment is substantial, over 10,000 small craft. Appears to be a defensive screen while they regroup." "Let them think they have time," Chen replied. "Activate the Lazarus Array." Across the solar system, hidden platforms embedded in the moons of Jupiter came online. For 15 years, Earth had been seeding the entire system with defensive installations, hiding them beneath the surfaces of moons, asteroids, and planetary rings. "Lazarus Array activated," reported Operations Officer Patel. "Targeting hegemony fighter screen." From the surface of Ganymede, Europa, Callisto, and a dozen smaller moons, energy beams lanced out, not at the fighters themselves, but at the space around them. Space-time folded and twisted, creating microsecond corridors of altered physics. 5,000 hegemony fighters suddenly found their navigational systems rerouted through these corridors, their trajectories altered despite their pilots' efforts. Like schools of fish unwittingly following a current, they were herded into precision-calculated positions. Then the Prometheus weapons fired. Unlike the gravity weapons that had eliminated the 12 destroyers, these were more subtle, targeted electromagnetic pulses combined with quantum field disruptors. The fighters didn't explode, they simply went dark, their systems completely neutralized. 5,000 enemy fighters disabled, Patel announced. "Crews alive but powerless." Chen nodded. "Begin recovery operations, and prepare the Phantom Fleet for the main engagement." On the inevitable Dominion, Admiral Genkar watched half his fighter screen go dark in a single coordinated attack. His tactical officers were in disarray, unable to explain how the humans had achieved such precise control of the battlefield. "Admiral," Commander Vexon said urgently, "we're detecting new energy signatures approaching from Saturn's rings." The main view screen shifted to show hundreds of sleek vessels emerging from the gas giant's magnificent rings, where they had remained hidden, powered down, and shielded from detection. Unlike the larger Earth warships, these were smaller, faster, clearly designed for a single purpose: ship-to-ship combat. "The Phantom Fleet," Genkar murmured, recalling the human general's words. Before he could issue new orders, 3 hegemony cruisers at the fleet's edge erupted in silent explosions. There had been no visible weapons fire, no energy signatures, nothing to indicate an attack until the ships were already breaking apart. "What's happening?" he roared. His tactical officer's voice was strained. "Unknown weapon signature, sir. We can't detect the attack until impact." Another transmission appeared on the main screen. General Chen again, her expression impassive. "Your vessels are being targeted by phase-shifted kinetic weapons. Admiral." Tungsten rods accelerated to near-relativistic speeds, then phase-shifted to bypass your shields. "The technology should be familiar. We found the theoretical designs in your own database." Genkar slammed his fist into his command chair. "You cannot have developed these weapons so quickly. It's impossible." "Not impossible," Chen replied calmly. "Simply unprecedented. You've encountered thousands of species, Admiral, but you've never faced humanity before. When united by a common threat, our innovation accelerates exponentially. The moment your scout ship was discovered at Proxima, Earth's governments united in secret. Companies that once competed began collaborating. Scientists who once worked in isolation formed global networks. We had one goal: survival. 5 more hegemony vessels erupted in silent destruction. "We knew you were coming," Chen continued. "We knew you would see us as primitive, as easy prey. Your arrogance has been your undoing." In the White House Situation Room, President Rice watched the battle unfold through secure feeds. Earth's forces were methodically dismantling the hegemony fleet, not through overwhelming firepower, but through tactical superiority and technologies the invaders clearly hadn't expected. "They're attempting to regroup," reported the Joint Chiefs Chairman, "consolidating around their command ship." Rice nodded. "General Chen, proceed with Nexus Protocol." Throughout the solar system, hidden platforms activated simultaneously. From Mercury's dark side, Venus's cloud tops, Earth's oceans, Mars's polar caps, and countless asteroids, energy beams of precisely calibrated frequencies converged, not on the hegemony ships, but at points in space equidistant from them. Where the beams intersected, space itself seemed to shiver, then tear open. Hundreds of quantum gateways formed, creating a three-dimensional grid surrounding the remaining hegemony vessels. Admiral Genkar stared in horror as his escape routes vanished, replaced by artificial gravity wells that would tear any ship apart that attempted to pass through them. "We're trapped," Vexon whispered. A final transmission appeared. President Rice stood flanked by General Chen and Director Okafor. "Admiral Genkar, this is President Elena Reyes of the United Earth Government. Your fleet is neutralized. Your fighters disabled. Your escape routes blocked. We now offer you a choice that, according to your records, you have never offered others. Surrender." Genkar's mandibles clicked in rage and disbelief. The hegemony does not surrender to primitives. "Then the hegemony will learn a painful lesson today," Rice replied evenly. "We are not primitive. We are not helpless. We are humanity." She gestured, and the screen split to show the entire solar system. From every planet, moon, and asteroid belt, more ships emerge, hundreds of thousands of vessels that had remained hidden, powered down, waiting for this moment. 500,000 warships, Rice stated, built in secret over 15 years, each carrying weapons reverse-engineered from your own technology and improved upon. "This is humanity united, Admiral. This is what you fail to understand about our species." Genkar sank into his command chair, finally comprehending the magnitude of his error. "What are your terms?" he asked, his voice hollow. "Unconditional surrender," Rice replied. "Your crews will be treated humanely. Your ships will be studied. And you will return to the hegemony with a message. The Sol system is off limits. Furthermore, all pre-unification worlds, as you call them, are now under Earth's protection. The age of hegemony expansion ends today." 3 months later, a solitary hegemony vessel, the inevitable Dominion itself, approached the border of hegemony space. At its helm stood not Admiral Genkar, but Commander Vexon, accompanied by Ambassador Vexer, whose warnings had been ignored. The ship's hull bore new markings, the Earth emblem alongside the hegemony symbol, signifying its status as a diplomatic vessel. In the Grand Hall of the Galactic Hegemony, High Chancellor Drexel received the transmission from the returning ship with growing horror. The images showed not only the humiliating defeat of their invasion fleet, but the staggering scale of Earth's hidden military capability. "They demand recognition as a sovereign power," Vexer explained, "and protection for all developing worlds previously targeted for assimilation." "Or?" Drexel asked, already knowing the answer. Vexer's copper skin gleamed as he displayed the final message from Earth, a star chart showing 500,000 Earth vessels spreading throughout the galaxy, protecting worlds the hegemony had deemed ripe for conquest. "They're already out there," Vexer said quietly. "Their ships are faster than ours, their weapons more advanced. Earth was preparing for this moment while we thought them primitive. They kept their true capabilities hidden until we forced their hand." Drexel's crown of tendrils drooped in defeat. How did they advance so quickly?" "That, Chancellor, is what I tried to warn you about," Vexer replied. "Humans are unlike any species we've encountered. When threatened, they don't cower, they innovate, they unite, they overcome. And now, they've emerged onto the galactic stage, not as another conquered world, but as perhaps the most formidable power that hegemony has ever faced. On Earth, in the newly constructed diplomatic center in Geneva, President Reyes met with the first wave of ambassadors from independent worlds throughout the galaxy, species that had lived in fear of hegemony expansion for centuries. Earth stands ready to help forge a new galactic alliance, she announced to the assembled delegates. One based not on conquest, but on cooperation, not on assimilation, but on respect for sovereignty. General Chen, standing nearby, allowed herself a small smile. They believed Earth was helpless. She murmured to Director Okafor beside her, a fatal miscalculation. Okafor nodded, watching as representatives from 100 worlds approached to formalize alliances with humanity. Perhaps the greatest lesson the hegemony learned wasn't about our technology, but about our nature. United, humanity is capable of accomplishing the impossible. As if to emphasize his point, the massive holographic display above the assembly activated, showing Earth's armada now dispersed throughout the galaxy. 500,000 warships positioned to protect developing civilizations from hegemony interference. A new era begins, Chen said quietly. Not of conquest, but of protection. Outside the diplomatic center, crowds of humans gathered, their faces upturned to the night sky. Where once they had seen only stars, they now recognized something more. The promise of a vast community of worlds, and humanity's unexpected role as its defender. The species that the hegemony had dismissed as primitive had emerged as the galaxy's most powerful protector. The void between stars, once dominated by conquest, now filled with hope, and with the sleek hulls of Earth's guardian fleet, a silvery testament to humanity's unbreakable spirit. They had believed Earth was helpless, until 500,000 warships darkened the skies and changed the galaxy forever.